Good afternoon. You're here with Janet in Janet's Corner of the Building again. Last week we talked about the Renaissance in one-point perspective, how St. Francis of Assisi, he was the turning point in art, in the Renaissance art. Before that, religious art, mainly mosaics, very flat, two-dimensional, no depth. But with St. Francis of Assisi, he let the artists know, well, God gave us this world. We have the freedom to reproduce this world and draw around us, and with depth and then let's see, with Masaccio and one-point perspective, we saw how the depth in the paintings, pushing space back with lines, and we can do that. We still use that today. One-point perspective, let's say two-point perspective, I'm going to show that today. Three-point perspective, we might get to that. Two-point perspective, making that building fall back in space instead of looking flat. And up here, I have some examples. Let's see, Van Gogh. You're probably very familiar with Van Gogh's work. Edward Hopper, he really, let's see, with the two-point perspective, the one-point perspective, it's very dominant in Edward Hopper's work. He's an artist, let's see, an American artist, mid-1900s, 1940s. Of course, Van Gogh, late 1800s. And as you can see at the top, I have the Café Terrence at night, this painting, 1888. And I also marked off the vanishing points. As you can see, all the lines of the pavement, and the lines of the building, they all meet at one vanishing point. And you can probably see it a lot better in Hopper's work over here. As I line up the top of the gas pumps and the bottom of the gas pumps, that vanishing point winds up lying right there on the horizon. And the horizon, sometimes I call it the sight line. And down here, a much closer look. Of course, I took a dry erase marker and marked them. And you can see how the window and the frame of the restaurant, those lines move back into space. Back here is your vanishing point somewhere. Sometimes it's not even on the page. Your vanishing points, the further out they are, the closer you're going to be to your subject. The closer, say our vanishing points are within the frame, of course your subject matter is going to be very, it's going to go back into space very quickly. Let's see, over here, say my vanishing, and I'm going to establish my horizon, about 1/3 up from the bottom. I'm going to put all the emphasis up here above the horizon. Here in this picture you can see that the horizon is about 1/3 up. Say our vanishing points are within the frame. That building, once I get the vertical in, that's the edge of the building that's closest to you. And all the lines on this side are going to run to the vanishing point. And say the bottom line, it goes up towards the vanishing point. Over here, let's see, I'm going to make this cube about the same height as the width, same height as the width. I'm going to do it with my fingers. Okay, right here, I want another vertical back in space. And we'll make it really small. And then this line here is going to line up with your vanishing point. down here with here in Hopper's work, we see mostly, mainly a 1-point perspective. The buildings in the distance, it's pretty much the facade of the buildings in the distance. And this building in here, it lies on the horizon. So you're gonna see it pretty well squared off, flat. And let's see, with the church up here, if I continue, okay, this here on this side, I'm gonna get rid of this. Say I wanna draw a church. I'm gonna put the horizon down here about 1/3 up from the bottom. Let's see, the closest edge of the church, and then over here we're gonna have the edge of the church over here, and then this edge is further back. All my lines are gonna go to vanishing point, and on here it looks like the vanishing points are outside the frame. So I'm gonna go down here, and then it's the back side. Make this a little bit taller. And bring this down here, and then add my roof. And with adding the roof, what I can do, I took a couple of pieces of cardboard and I clipped them together. And for the angle of the roof, I can line up one edge with the vertical and one edge with the roof. So we got an angle about like that. And down here, I can do the same. Bring the roof out from the building. And then over here, do the same thing. And of course, the top of the roof is gonna line up with the same vanishing point as this line and this line. And I'm gonna throw in the roof. And the back end of the roof is good. This back end is gonna echo this line here at the front. And we're gonna we need to bring this line down. It vanishes a lot more quickly than what I primarily had. And right there. Okay. And within here, the windows on the side, they are also gonna be in perspective. The bottom edge of the windows are going to, the line on the bottom edge of the windows, as you lay a straight edge against here, they're also gonna line up with the same vanishing point as the bottom edge of the house, of the church or chapel. So I'm gonna put in some windows. And of course, as they go back in space, they're gonna get smaller and closer together. And the one up here is gonna be fairly large. And arch. And we can go, let's see, go over arches another time. The top of the arches are also gonna be lined up with the same vanishing point. And of course, a smaller one. I got that all sketched in. And then as for the front, you see that the steps come out from the building. The front edge of this stairwell, stair steps, this line here on the bottom edge of the steps, it's gonna line up with this vanishing point over here. And come up here. Clean that up. And make it much smaller. There we go. And the steps here are the steps on top. They're gonna line up with this vanishing point on this side so that the steps go back in space. And let's see, this top, okay, and then I need to get the top on there, right? The platform that you step on. And then of course there's the door. Well, we're gonna round that off a little bit. And step, 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 step. This is a very quick sketch. And of course, the bottom step, and then the sidewalk coming out. So now you got a church that appears that it's coming up three-dimensional, creating that three-dimensional illusion up on a two-dimensional surface. And over here with this church, pretty much it's the facade of the church. You can't see down the sides of it, so there's no reason to include the sides of the church. And I noticed that some of the chapels that I looked at on the web, they have these huge facades here, but there's the building only, the roof of the building is only maybe comes to the halfway point. If I can show you, okay, down here is the worm's eye and the worm's eye, I'll show you over here. Now I was looking at this, say there's a building, and then this is the facade of the building, or the front side of the building. Okay, and let's see if we bring this back to this vanishing point. And then back here, the building only comes up to so high. And then the rest of this up here is freestanding. Down. And then of course the windows down the side. But I thought that was a little bit strange. And pretty much I've only seen something like that in the old Western movies. Sometimes there's nothing in back of here. It's just the front side of the building. Worm's eye and the worm's eye view. Usually that's whenever you're looking up at something, up at a building. Here, I got an example of it. Up here, the building or object is above you, and a lot of times the only thing that you see that's probably above you is, let's see, a sign, a big placard sign. And over here, I started one of them, worm's eye view. That means that the horizon is well below, and up here, your lines, the lines here, here, and here will line up with the vanishing point over here. And on your sign, the back side, or the side of the sign, they're gonna line up with your vanishing point on the horizon over here. Of course, you got your verticals and vacancy. There we go. And then of course we can put a pole in it to put it above the motel. And the motel, it will sit closer to the horizon. And of course you can sketch in the hotel if it's back in the distance. Of course the smaller it is, the less of an angle that you're gonna see. The lines going to the vanishing points are gonna be much shallower, or if that's a word. And say the building is way back here. And I'm just gonna put a cube in there for right now. A cute. And then one worm's eye view, let's see, that's a worm's eye view. A bird's eye view, you're looking down on something. It's just like the ellipses, when I was talking about ellipses. Whenever you look straight down on a cup of coffee, of course you're going to see a circle. And you're not going to see the sides of the cup. And with the bird's eye view of a building, you're going to see mostly the top, at the top of the building. Say you're going to see the top of the building, and then let's see, that's the worm's eye. Okay, the bird's eye. Yeah, you're going to see the top of the building, and then all the lines run to the vanishing point, and right there, and right there, and right there. Okay. Right there. Boom, boom. And there. See, do I have a bird's eye view looking down on something? Let's make the bottom edge of it more shallow so that it looks like a bird's eye view. We're looking down on something. No. We're gonna go back up here. There we go. And then over here to this vanishing point for this line. Over here for this line. Now we'll put the bottom of the building in. There we go. Now there's the top of the building. We can put your air conditioning up on top in perspective, and we're looking down on it, so we're gonna see more of the top of it. These lines over here run to this vanishing point, and then this line should vanish over here. So we got the worm's eye and the bird's eye. Sorry about the bird's eye. I got a little bit confused there. Here you can see it real well. From the top, if you're looking down, you got your bird's eye. If you're looking up at something, and then you got your worm's eye view. A lot of times we're at, the trip to New York. First thing the group tells me, don't walk around looking up all the time, because then you're going to trip over something. But you got to check out the height of the buildings. And you're looking up at the buildings, and you not only do you have the 2-point perspective coming into play, but you also have the 3-point perspective coming into play. And we'll put this up since we have time. I don't really know how I'm doing on time. I really don't. But here's the 3-point perspective. And there's a nice example down here of a building looking up from the bottom. We're gonna move. And of course with this, your horizon is going to be way up here. Way up here. And then down here, you're going to have, we'll put it outside the frame. We're going to have a vanishing point here, and over here, and over here. 3-point. And I think I set it up for I set it up for the bird's eye view. Okay, I'm doing all right. So then everything's going to come off of these points. And for my verticals, instead of coming straight down, this is the top of the building. I'm looking down on it. And instead of these lines going straight down, we're going to bring them into the vanishing point. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay, that's looking down on the building. And we're supposed to do it looking up at the building. So we'll do it looking up at the building, sorry folks. Okay, looking up, low horizon, and vanishing point there, vanishing point there. And then all of our verticals going up. Well, these verticals are gonna go to the third point, 3-point perspective. This line's gonna here, here, here. They're all gonna converge at a third vanishing point. And of course, the top of the building, we're gonna line this side up with the, I'll say vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2, and 3, so we don't get mixed up. Okay, vanishing point 1, 2, 3. Okay, to get the, cut the building off a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now we're looking up at a building. Of course, we're not gonna see the bottom of it unless it's an object. So I'm gonna bring this all the way down out of the frame. Because we're gonna be down here. And of course, if I go below the horizon, and then these lines down here are gonna move upward towards our vanishing point 1 and 2. And there we go. There's 3-point perspective. Sorry about the little mix-up during the video. We did a worm's eye view instead of a bird's eye. And next week, we're going to introduce figures into our landscape or in our cityscape and get them in proportion with everything else so that our people aren't 5 times bigger than the building. Anyway, thank you. And thank you, Maria, and Los Volcanes Senior Center. And hopefully I'll see you next week. Oh, I forgot to, we've been, meeting at, getting together at a park, one of the parks here in town. To draw or paint or just to get together and share ideas. And a good phone number or email address. You can email me and I'll let you know where we're gonna be. Jan Lee 556, and the easy part at the end is at gmail.com. And I would like to hear your comments, your questions, and whenever we get together, we share ideas and we talk about each other's work. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you later.